Hey book nerds, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to discuss 5 contemporary tropes that I hate. I did the reverse of this, I don't know what order they're going to go up. I'll probably do this one second just because I'm filming it second. But yeah, I will link that down below, it'll be the video uploaded right before this one probably. So this is the flip side of this, and this is 5 contemporary tropes that I hate. Contemporary is not my favourite genre, and as always, if people love these tropes, I'm very happy for you. Like, genuinely, I love it when people can enjoy things that I can't. So please don't hate me for mentioning that these are tropes that I don't enjoy. And if you have a discussion about them, that's great. I love to discuss bookish things with people. So the first, and I said as well in my last video, these aren't technically all tropes, they're just what I call tropes, so they're things, factors, whatever you want to call them, features of contemporary books that I do not like. So the first one I hate is when our main character has a really close best friend, usually female, usually it's a female-female friendship, and then that friend will completely abandon them because of something that the main character did. Usually it involves a boy or a lie of some description, so the main character will have lied to something, lied about something to their best friend, and then their best friend will just literally cut them out of their lives and not speak to them for several pages. This bothers me for many reasons. Basically, I don't think it's a good representation of a good friendship. I understand that people have fights, particularly when they're teenagers, but for like the female best friend to just completely drop the main character, it's like really bad, especially because their friendship tends not to be that great beforehand. The other problem is that they usually reconcile by the end, and sometimes the main character is like, okay, I trust this person less, but more often than not it's just like, okay, we're best friends again, and I'm like, no, that person was terrible to you. Like, I think it's an accurate representation of how teenage friendship can be, particularly in like a school environment where you can't choose your friends that well. But yeah, it just really bugs me every time it happens, particularly when it's tied into the whole liar revealed plot, which I hate anyway, but that's a separate thing. The next trope is very specific to me, and I know that some people will really enjoy this type of book, but I cannot read about like young adult books that are about illness, particularly if that illness is cancer, but like any illness really that's not it's like life-threatening. It's not my kind of book. I find them really depressing and they just make me really sad, and I don't enjoy reading that content. And representation is important, and I appreciate them from that point of view, but for me they really don't do anything for me. They just make me sad, and I can't really read anything about that topic. That applies to like movies and TV shows as well. And it's one of the reasons I will never ever read The Fault in Our Stars or anything similar, because I just don't enjoy reading about that kind of thing. The next trope I really hate is when the main character has a younger sibling who is really smart-mouthed, and like, you're meant to think they're really cute and clever. Even if the main character hates them, they're usually meant to be like endearing, but they just really, really annoy me. I don't like precocious children. And I think this was more common in the contemporaries that I read when I was a teenager than modern day, but there were quite a few examples in that kind of 2000s period where you just have really annoying siblings and they would just ruin the main character's life. And it's part of the story, but it's just really bugged me. Especially because, again, the main character always has to forgive the sibling because obviously they're related and that's how it works. But yeah, no, I can't deal with annoying children characters. The next trope I hate is definitely like again a me specific thing, and it is when young adult contemporaries have like pretentious prose. So the best example I can think of is John Green. Also Perks of Being a Wallflower is another example, and there are many more that I haven't read because I suspect they're that kind of book. And it's basically when they're meant to be from the point of view of a teenager, but they write about life as if they know all this important stuff about it. And I'm not saying that as a teenager you can't have valid and important perspectives on life, but when you're a fictional teenager, that's not you, that's the author writing through you, and it just makes it seem false. And yeah, I just don't gel with that kind of prose anyway, like very literary prose, and if it's in a young adult book it bothers me even more because it just feels like they're trying to be important, and you shouldn't have to try to be an important book, it should happen naturally and organically. So yeah, that kind of stuff really bothers me. And the final contemporary trope that I hate is one that I hope is outdated now and isn't really still being written, but it's basically when the main character, who is always like a slightly nerdy female, is in love with like the jock guy, but she doesn't know him as a person, and she'll get to know him and realise that he's boring, and then she'll end up falling in love with her male best friend. This was so common in the 2000s. It's basically like the only contemporary books that I could find to read. And I'm just so done with it because, like, I don't know, I feel like it's patronising to teenagers to assume that they will just fancy someone because they are attractive. And I know that everyone kind of does that. Like, you idolise the people that you have a crush on. I assume I'm demisexual, so it doesn't quite work for me, but, like, I assume that's how straight people work. But yeah, it's so obvious. It follows so many of the same story beats where she'll be talking to the guy and she finally gets the attention of the jock guy, and then she's like, oh, wait a minute, he's not got a personality that I like. And then she's like, oh, my male best friend is there to comfort me when the jock guy breaks my heart. And yeah, it's over. Like I said, I don't think people still write this type of story, but I could be wrong. Hopefully they don't. But yeah, so those are 5 of the contemporary tropes that I hate. Let me know what you think of them. Let me know if there's tropes that you particularly hate that I haven't mentioned, or if you disagree with any of these. Let me know why, if you think there's some really good examples of them. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, it helps me out massively. And I hope to see you next time.